All right, so today I am with Doctor of Insanity, the author of this particular song, right? And we were just talking about we were just talking about comparing his his original song, his first song to this song, and I made the observation that I actually think this one had more work put into it, but he just told me it's actually the other way around, right? That this one that I like better had less work put into it than the one that than the original one, which I think is funnier, but I don't think is as good of a song. And we were just talking about how that's kind of funny that sometimes the one that the piece that you're working on for the meme hits harder than the one that you mean working on like seriously, right? It happens sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put more work into this one. This one's gonna be a side project of mine, and the side project kicks off. I was like, son of a bitch, right?
That happens. It's the way of how the cookie crumbles.
Kuro says, on stream after watching Blazing Saddles. Oh, good lord. Spartanbot says, good afternoon to you both. Yes, good afternoon to you too. All right, so we're gonna take a look at I have that happen a lot. Fair enough. So we're gonna take a look at his song. This is Nothing But a Lookalike. And I think that the point of this song will become very apparent as it plays, right? I think this is a fairly self-demonstrating song. So
also, it's like before you put on, it's like you want me to say what the origin of the song was, or say that till after the song?
Let's save it till after. Let's go through it first, and then you tell me what it is, okay?
Okay.
All right, because it's not spoilers, right? As they say in Doctor Who.
Fair enough.
Spotlights on the stage, you strike your rebel pose. Tattoos and stories that everybody knows. Artists in the circle all preaching something new. But scroll the feed and every frame looks borrowed, copied blue. You claim that your ideas are unique because you're human. Yet you pick from the same template as all of the rest.
So yeah, long story short, right? Just from this, just the introduction, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on here, right? This is very obviously a slam against the cult of, first of all, originality, and it's also a slam against the common talking point of AI, is it not? Right? The idea that that there's no real creative input to the AI, but it's like, well, define creative input first of all, right? Like how creative. It's like nothing that anyone generates is totally new. Everything that is generated by the human brain is generated from sense perception, oftentimes borrowing from, again, things that we took beforehand. Like, again, you pick from the same template as all the rest. Like if we go back through some of the lyrics, you claim that your ideas are unique because you're human, is very specifically the human position, when it's like, are they though? Are they really unique because you're human? Or is that like, are they really special because you have this sense of qualia? Or is that just a way that you protect yourself from like objective criticism, right?
Very much so. It's like, yeah, you want all these works done by humans, but let's be honest, like, you have, it's like, if they didn't tell you that was a machine and you weren't looking through these things with a fine-tooth comb because, well, you hate machines, would you tell a good chunk of these things are human or machine?
I mean, we saw what happened with the Monet thing, right? Hello, Atsumori Chaos, right? Kuro says, sounds like... let's see. Kuro says, sounds like Glycerin by Bush at the start for a bit. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm here, but I'm cutting a couple acres of grass. Ah, fair enough, right? Right? Being a productive, doing something productive for your time, right?
Productive in this economy.
Right. So good luck on that, right? Let's see. Robert Kinley says, "What happens to last night's stream? I privated it like I usually do until I can cut out specific sections and then make them into videos, right?" So they'll be up in a couple days. But the last VOD was also chopped up because of like stream issues. But it'll be up probably on Monday. Let's see. So, but scroll the feed and every frame looks borrowed, copied, glue. Again, this is the whole thing where you are pointing out that like all these human ideas, all this alleged human creativity is really just repurposed information from other material that preceded it, right?
Yep, it's like the sheer amount of times like you see a scene from like an action movie, a character design, etc., and they're like, "Here's my unique idea," and it's like, "Oh, it looks nice." It's like, but you do catch like, okay, I can see where they got some of the reference, what they're referencing or got ideas from when it comes to basically what you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean,
they won't tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, like you and me are pretty obvious, are pretty like honest about where we get our inspiration. Hello, Kionala. Robert Kinley says, "Oh, I was worried." Well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, nothing's wrong. It's just it'll be up in a bit. Kionala says, "How much did I miss?" You missed exactly 9 minutes, so nothing much, right? But yeah, like you and me, I know you and me are fairly like open as to where we get like the inspiration for our ideas from, because we're not exactly part of the cult of novelty, right? We don't really novelty isn't self-justifying. It actually has to be good. If it's new and shit, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I think there was a line right before this that so there's a couple of them. So. Artists in the circle, all preaching something new. Again, this is the cult of novelty, and it almost sounds like a jab at conventionalism. The idea that, like, again, it's like art is defined by the artist community when they haven't even defined what art is in the first place, other than it's defined by the art community.
Yep, and it's like you can see a bunch of works that come out in like honestly the past 15 years that say, "Hey, we're the first one that tried X," and you're like, I seen this thing happen in like the 1960s, even potentially earlier than that. What do you mean this is a new concept?
It kind of reminds me of like in politics. It's like, yes, we're the first X, Y, or Z, and it's like, I don't really give a shit. Also, is that even true? Because sometimes the claim is just objectively false, right? You're not actually the first in that category. You're just saying you're the first in that category every time because again, it makes you and your audience base feel good in your dopamine receptors, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Tattoos and stories that everyone knows. Again, just, yeah, you can definitely tell sometimes based off the tattoos, right? Spotlights on the stage, you strike your rebel pose. Again, that's like the artist posing as rebellion when in fact he's the most conformist piece of shit out there, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. So where were we in the song? I do believe same template as all the rest, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it is kind of interesting how many of these special snowflakes actually just produce the same slop over and over again, right? Right?
Exactly.
Like, I swear I have new... I swear I have...
Rudy.
Oh, hello, Rudy. You may or may not have known about this person, but I'm talking to Doctor of Insanity right now. He's the one who wrote the song we're listening to.
Hey, everyone.
But yeah. So So let's go back to the beginning of this instead of going backwards, right? Okay. Make sure that we actually have this. The obviously look-alike is you're referring to the fact that like they're not actually unique. They're copying other people, right? They are in a sense mirrors of their forebearers. New movie, same plot, right? Mirror full of faces, swearing they're the spark. Yeah, right. Again, that seems to be an attack on the mysticism of the arts, right? And it's like there's something magical, mystical. There's a spark involved in art, where it's like I'm not entirely sure that that's actually true, to be perfectly honest, right? Like you and me both grew up,
and when you don't even, which you don't even need to take a closer look into to realize, hey, this is just like a warped reflection of something else.
Yeah.
Granted, it could be good, it could be terrible, but for the most part, it's basically a reflection of something that came beforehand.
God damn it, Rudy. Rudy says I call it a spark of insanity. Well, he's not wrong on some of this stuff, right?
Nice.
But yeah, you and me both grew up in a family of artists, and I think you and me are both on the same page that like I don't really think that there is any like magical spark involved in the arts, to be perfectly honest. Like, like I'm genuinely skeptical of that claim, but that's that. Keep going.
Like a little trivia about me was that I was actually a part of the major art community, at least for basically my area. I kind of left that because, like, well, what we're seeing about what happening now was basically already happening in there.
Yeah. I've talked about this as well, but yeah, the fact of the matter is, I think this is one of the things that really pisses people off about the AI art movement is that it, in a very real sense, actually shows that like there's nothing magical about art, right? Art is itself like
the literal mirror showing the spark.
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of funny. I also think that like AI is despised because it's basically shadow work. If it's trained off of all the works of human endeavors, then in a sense it will reflect the collective of mankind back to itself, and I don't think people particularly like that the AI reflects back the collective of mankind to itself, because sometimes you see things you don't necessarily like in the reflection when the shadow gets reflected back to you, right? Let me turn that off. Yeah,
That's the difference between us and them. When they stared into the abyss, they blinked.
Right. Oh my god. So yeah, this is as said earlier, the new movie, same plot kind of deal. And the swearing there, the spark is like, again, they're talking hot shit, but it's like, what have they actually done, right?
Nothing of value was gained.
Kionella says a spark is just inspiration. I think, at least for me, it is. Yeah, I mean, like that is a phrase, a spark of inspiration, but it's like inspiration isn't even technically necessary. You can actually still produce things without that spark of inspiration, right? It has been done before. Disciplined artists have worked through things like that, worked through blocks before. It's kind of required if you're going to be a professional artist. Kianala says, then again, I'm the only artist in my family. I mean, that's fair. Captain Rudy says, they like it hot, though. Okay.
Not sure what that last one was supposed to mean.
Right? Hold on. Freedom in the spotlight, dancing in the dark. Let's see. You call yourself unique and one of a kind. Again, we're talking about the special little snowflake thing, right? But remove the name and you look and sound just like all the rest. This is exactly what we were talking about, right? Again, it's what Kianala said earlier. The same movie, the new movie, same plot. It is just a rehash of the same old stupid shit that we've been seeing beforehand. And especially with the AI thing, it's like, oh yeah, even down to the whole I hate the new thing is just a rehash of the old Luddite complaint that like the painter had against the camera. And that again, the traditional artist had against digital art, right? And Again, like all of these different people, like again, the sculptor probably complained about the 3D printer. The sculptor probably still complains about the 3D printer, right? And like 3D modeling, so.
Return to caveman. Enjoy the paint.
Right.
Like all of the rest. They cry for something different, something raw and true. Then the moment it appears, they sharpen up the crew. Rip it, burn it, label it a threat to their domain. Creativity's welcome till it breaks the same old chain.
Okay, so let's look at these lyrics now, right? So they cry for something different, something raw and true, right? So this is the authenticity crowd. That's the raw and true people, right? Thank you for the 7 consecutive streams watches, Captain Rudy. Yeah. So this is
bump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
Kianalo says, with commissioned art, you at least have to work off of to have something to work off of. Exactly, right? So the something raw and true thing is obviously the quote unquote authenticity people. And I think actually the raw and true thing is oftentimes an emotivism thing, because often this is a thing that like a lot of artists, they want to express emotion, but it's like not all art has to express emotion, right? That's a highly myopic view of what art is, but it's a very common view among the art community. Goddamn. Yeah, I have a couple of cases like that too, Captain Rudy. Captain Rudy says I have a 164 stream streak on Ember's stream. That's fair.
Those are numbers we're talking about.
So let's see. Then the moment it appears, they sharpen up the crew. First of all, shrew and crew I think is a really fun rhyme. But yeah, the moment like they actually get something raw and true that like, actually steps out of their fake hyper reality, right? The false reality that they've constructed around themselves, oftentimes to reduce responsibility for their state of their own lives, right? Or because they have some kind of ideological project that they want to see through. As soon as someone actually steps out of that and then actually challenges that particular worldview, presents something, something new, yeah, they do sharpen up the crew. They come after you. The mainstream art community is highly Gramscian. They are very hardline Marxists, and they are very, very critical in a way that they're not to other Marxist artists towards anyone outside of that regime. Like, God forbid you're an artist and you're a conservative, right? Or God forbid you're an artist and you're a right libertarian, or like an objectivist. They will absolutely criticize your art for things that they would not dream of criticizing their own cohort's art for, right? Because to them, standards don't exactly mean anything. They are just a means by which they can abuse the people they don't particularly like. Well, that's what I got from this line. Am I on point or am I off base?
Actually, you're pretty much on point. But it's like I also like to point out, people will tell you that like, oh, you can basically ask the AI to write you a song, and then boom, you generate all of the lyrics. This entire section and that entire line that you read right there, from the start when the lyrics picked up to here, the AI did not write that, and did not write that. I basically put that into my prompt.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like sometimes because I try to do a minimal hands-on thing, right? When I write music for the AI. When I do AI music, because my whole thing is I'm interested in what the AI can do, right? I let the AI, handle the music, and I let the AI write the lyrics, but I double check everything, right? I give it an extremely detailed prompt. Like a lot of my songs are like a full page or two prompt. Like this is exactly what I'm looking for in terms of like music quality, and what I'm looking for lyrically. These are the things the lyrics have to accomplish, right? And if it does not actually meet the requirements, I just don't release it. And so there's a lot of songs that are currently on my Suno that just are not ever going to see the light of day because they just did not fulfill the function by which I was trying to, craft them. And my style prompts are not simple, right? My style prompts sometimes get up to like 950 characters out of 1,000 allowed, right? Because I'm explaining to it not what genres to mix, but exactly what I want it to do. Because I understand that, like, if you tell it genres and then mix these genres, you can get all kinds of hodgepodges and it's not necessarily going to work. But if you tell the AI exactly what you want it to do, then it is more likely to give you the thing that you want it to do, right? And I do the same thing with the lyrics. So sometimes there's not a single AI writing it. Like oftentimes I will get one AI to write the lyrics, one version of the lyrics, right? And then I will get two other AI and get them to argue over the lyrical quality of the lyrics. And only like after a very long argument between those multiple AI do we have a final project. And then I will go in there, scan it, look for any errors, fix any bugs in it, and then I will use that as the template for the Suno generation. So it's not as if it's like, this is a thing, click and it's done. Like I spend all day on some of these projects just trying to get the fucking lyrics correct, and then the song, right? That's why sometimes you find this a day I don't stream is I'm probably working on some song in the background and I kind of got lost in the Suno. Let's see, hold on. Captain Rudy and Kionala seem to be talking. Let's see. Kionala, Captain Rudy says, your art is slop, so is your friends. That's different, right? Kionala says, you are the editor. Yes, I definitely take a more editorial role in the AI stuff, right? I basically commission the piece, and then I tailor it to what I actually need it for. Let's see. Captain Rudy, and sometimes it is What?
I was like, I kind of take on mixed role, both editor and co-writer for the songs I made and will release.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Let's see. Captain Rudy says, I've been making heavy metal sea shanties. Ooh, that sounds fun. I'm gonna have to check out some of those. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but I can prompt it to include certain instruments like flutes, lutes, bagpipes, and violins. Oh, you know what? You gave me an idea.
I'll ask you how to do that later.
Yeah, I'll help you with that later, okay?
Okay.
But, okay, so where are we with this? The moment it appears, they sharpen up the crew. Okay, we just got through that part. All right. Rip it, burn it, label it a threat to their domain. Again, this is very clearly you're talking about criticism, like not constructive criticism, but deconstructive criticism. Because it's, as you said, a threat to their domain. They need to maintain control over artistic production because art is the concretization of a metaphysic, a view of man and his life. It is a concretization of the vision that you have or someone else's vision for the world and man and his place in it, right? So if you can control that, that's a huge boon to the control of the culture. This is what gets me a little pissed off about.
To the very next line.
Yeah, which is what gets me pissed off about like conservatives and libertarians not, caring so much about the production of things like, again, animation, movie, live action movies, music, games, is because all of this is kind of important to the formation of culture. There's not a single culture that existed for centuries successfully that didn't pay mind to the artistic expression of it, and the creation of in the artistic process. It just doesn't fucking work. It is a counter to real thing to suggest that the arts don't actually matter to a civilizational project. And it burns me to no end that the left understands this and the right just seems to not care. But anyway, except for now, because now we got except for now, because now the AI art thing has allowed people to get into these creative fields that would never have been able to get in it beforehand, right? So then,
yep.
The next line was creativity's welcome till it breaks the same old chain. And yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about, right? They need control of creativity because AI art has just basically democratized music, basically, right? Don't have any musical proficiency? Well, the AI can actually help you catch up to speed to make real good music, right?
Indeed. And as we've seen beforehand, some people actually are quite good when it comes to making their AI music.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these people are fucking great. But, all right, let's continue on with this.
He's welcome till it breaks the same old chain. You claim that your ideas are unique because you're human. Yet you pick from the same template as all of the rest. Look alike, all the same rebellion under different names. Look alike, marching to the rhythm that you claim to fight. Give me something unique, not found in a base template or at man. You're just another silhouette.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that's the end of that particular either verse or chorus, right? Well, some of these terms I'm not too familiar with because I didn't exactly study music. Anyway, Kionella says, like the newest version of the Odyssey when the fan-made musical is superior. Yeah. Uh-oh. Captain Rudy says, I'll send you a couple links. That would be much appreciated. Let's see.
Nice.
So we're going to go back to the beginning of this section, right? So obviously we had a repeat of lyrics, which is common to the musical style, right? So the first new one that I can see is all the same rebellion under different names, right? It's like leftism was the death of punk, it was the death of goth, it was the death of the geek culture, right? All the rebellion of from the quote-unquote mainstream, right? Because all it did was it basically forced everything to conform, right? So they're not really different rebellions, they're not really different protests, they are literally just the same thing under different faces, right? Because God forbid you try to profess traditional, punk values, do it yourself, be independent, live off the grid, right? And yeah, no, that's not exactly very common nowadays in like modern pseudo punk, right? The same thing with like goth. Modern goth is completely indistinguishable. I think Jason was it like Jake, either Jason or Jacob Monroe. I forget the guy's first name, but like the guy on Twitter as Goth Daddy.
Right? So I can.
Yeah, the guy on Twitter named Goth Daddy had a whole video on that, and it was like he's right. Yeah, no, it is that reoccurring. It's all the same rebellion under a different name, and it's not just in the art, right? Like I complain about this in ideology all the time, right? It's like how many times you can just recreate someone's entire ideology by just taking a previously existing system and then switching out some terms, right? It's like, oh yeah, you can actually completely reconstruct modern, modern radical feminism by taking Marxist class conflict and then switching it from economic class conflict to a sexual class conflict, right? You make the female into the bourgeoisie and then switch out female into like the proletariat, my bad. And then you switch out the bourgeoisie with male, and then boom, you have patriarchy. Completely effectively made like as it is in feminism, right? It's not the economic capital, it's reproductive capital that they're arguing about. And then you have, for example, again in queer theory, the bourgeoisie is the cis heteronormative. It's the normative part that's actually key there, not the cis or the hetero part. And then the proletariat are the queer, old school defined as like strange or outside the normal, right? Again, you want to do CRT. CRT is itself completely reconstructible from Marxist terms. All you have to do is switch out the proletariat for, depending on who you're talking to, because they are squirrely with their words, either black or BIPOC, depending on what terms they decide to use for their own advantage. And then the bourgeoisie is whiteness or white. So. And then boom, you have all of critical race theory fall into place right there. You can actually technically do this, almost do this with Nazism as well, right? All you have to do is replace the proletariat with Aryan, and then bourgeoisie with Jew, and then most of Nazi ideology falls into place. You just got to introduce a little bit of paganism into it, and then modernize the paganism. But yeah, it's all the same bullshit rebellion rehashed under a different like mask. It is literally the same thing structurally. And yeah, it's like, again,
right before, and if you cut off what you were saying right before you said the Nazi line, that was exactly what I was. That was, well, almost word for word what I was thinking when I came up with this line.
fair enough, right? I see. Atsumori Chaos says, I've been having fun with my first AI music vid. It's a great feeling when it starts to come together. Right? Oh my god. It's literally the Kronk meme of like, oh yeah,
Awesome.
it's all coming together. Right? I have to keep an eye out for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay, so Chicken Tender. Hello, Chicken Tender. Hello all. Hope everyone's doing well today. Yes, we are so far doing well today, right? We haven't had any kind of issue stream-wise yet. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay, so let's go forward a little bit. Marching to the rhythm
What
that...
were you saying about that?
Right? No, that one was on me. So, marching to the rhythm that you claim to fight. And again, so this actually kind of reminds me. This is not really this isn't really like an underlying philosophical point. This kind of reminds me of like shadow possession, right? So it's like most people are familiar with shadow projection, right? Where it's like there's something about this about like your personality you don't like, so then you push it into the back of your subconscious so you don't have to think about it. But because you're pushing it actively in the back of your subconscious, the only way you can really fight against it is by projecting it, hence the term, right, onto someone else, and then attacking it is someone else, so that you feel a little bit better about yourself for attacking that thing that you don't like, but without actually having to do the hard work of, you know, changing that part of yourself to, you know, not actually have to be that thing, right? Well, shadow possession is a slightly more advanced issue in this, where it's still an issue of like suppressing the shadow, so suppressing something you don't like about yourself into the deep subconscious of your mind, but because you can't see the shadow anymore, that shadow is actually able to control you, again, like possess you. It's not like a demon, it's more along the lines of like, again, because you're preoccupied with suppressing this in the back of your brain and not being this thing that you're trying to not be ends up taking control of the way that you actually live your life, right? It's one of those things of like, it's almost like a Greek tragedy, right? What was that thing Master Oogway said? Sometimes in our attempt to defy fate, we end up meeting it on the road. I don't remember what the exact quote is, but
Long story short, people are just hypocrites.
yeah. Let's see. Chicken Hunter says no scuff yet. That's good to hear, and seems like delay is nowhere near as bad today. Oh yeah, I went and I changed the OBS settings, so hopefully it should be significantly more tolerable, right? Fair enough. Maybe I am a fool to mention this, but so yeah, this is definitely a hypocrisy. I think that it just reminded me of shadow possession. Let's see. Give me something unique not found in a base template. I think that was in a previous line, but again, as we were saying, like all human ideas are rehashes of information that we got through our sense perception, right? There is nothing truly a priori in human cognition, or at least I don't think there is. I think you can think a priori, and sometimes a priori reasoning can be correct, but I don't think human beings actually naturally think a priori. I think that's like an artificial constraint people place on themselves.
And this line's connected straight to the next line.
Yeah, or admit you're just another silhouette. Again, a silhouette is an interesting thing because a silhouette is like a shadow, right? Shwut, if I remember, is like the Egyptian term, because the Egyptians had like a multifaceted concept of the soul, and the Shwut is the concept of the shadow or the image, right? So it wouldn't just be like the literal shadow someone casts, but also the outline, the form, like the image impressed onto a wall, right? Or I guess in modern times into a photo. So it's like it is a pale imitation, like an outline, a incomplete image of something that of something else, almost like Plato's theory of forms, right?
And when the AI basically wrote this line, it's like it wanted to say or admit you're just a shadow of another, I didn't think that hit hard enough, so I changed it to another silhouette.
Yeah. Again, I sometimes make minor word adjustments in there too. I try to avoid doing that because, like, personally, I'm interested in what the AI can do and how prompting actually elicits an effect. So I avoid doing that unless it's really egregious and like needs to be done for a critical reason. But yeah. So again, there is more that goes into it. I do have to ask the question.
Yeah.
What I do have to ask the question. How did you decide to use the tildes in the way that you did?
Oh, that's basically just late, and that's basically the lazy man way of showing that this word is extended.
Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna have to try that out in Suno. I don't know. I didn't know that actually worked in Suno.
Oh no, it didn't. I just added. It's just because sometimes Suno will just auto extend some of these words, and I'm like, this actually works. So then I just
Oh, so you
bring
put
these lyrics over onto YouTube.
So-
I just did that for the lazily showing, hey, this word's extended.
Okay, fair enough. Today I learned something, right? Kionala says you get better at tech every stream at Cosmic. Thank you. Let's see. In before I do something really stupid,
Only
right?
more until you actually become decent.
Right? Professional streamer, everyone. Everything breaks apart, right? Chicken Tender says, all I've heard is suppress the Shadow Realm. Let's see. Rudy says, nah, we gotta suppress the Quangos and Luddites. Spartanbot says, the story Laius, father of Oedipus, fits that bit about being controlled by the things you don't want to be, so it's happened. Yes. There's a lot of Greek tragedy. It is basically shadow possession. Chicken Tender says, that is true as well, but all I can think of is Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, fair. I will never not find it funny that that Red from Overly Sarcastic Productions was deeply hurt that Yu-Gi-Oh! Knew more about the lore of Atlantis than she did. That is just so funny to me. Because I've never really cared for Atlantis, because you read the whole story of Atlantis in Plato, and again, the works of Plato, and this, okay, Socrates is literally taking the piss out of someone. He's literally doing that thing philosophers sometimes do, where they'll make shit up just to see if you're paying attention. So it's like, so many people just fail that test throughout all of history. Is this the line we stopped on?
Yes.
Okay.
Another silhouette. If you're upset about seeing yourself here, ask yourself, is it you or are you just a lookalike?
Okay, so I'm going to go back just for a moment because this catches my attention. If you're upset about seeing yourself here, is it you or are you just a lookalike? Right? Wait, hold on. No, there was a line in between these. That jump is a little bit too much, I think. Let me try it again. If you're upset about seeing yourself here, ask yourself, is it you or are you just a lookalike? I think, is this a jab at the whole, again, the raw and real people, right? It's like, yes, the authenticity is the key to art, right? Instead of, like, again, the metaphysic you're actually concretizing, and the form and the technique and the actual skill at which you concretize that thing, right? Is that what you're talking about? Like, the whole thing is like, is it you or are you just another lookalike? Are you actually being authentic, or are you doing the thing that you were complaining about other people about, right?
So I actually really like an interpretation, so I'm stealing it. But in all honesty, but in all honesty, the purpose of this line is, if you can see, there's my character right there in the foreground, and a bunch of
Lookalikes
of her back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know for a fact that at some point someone is probably going to say, "Hey, your character looks exactly like mine." And so it's like, well, is this really? Or it's like, yeah, model, clothes, etc., in this image looks like them. So it's like, well, is it really you, or are you just basically someone who looks like someone else?
Well, I mean, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, is the old saying, right? It's the incomplete and truncated version of the saying that means the exact opposite of the original saying. But yeah, I mean, even in the image, we can literally see
Again,
like, huh?
I was saying, like, I really do like your interpretation, so I'll steal that in the future. But for the most part, this is basically just a meta line about the image I'm using here.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah, my avatar just broke for a moment. But I mean, you can see that all throughout this video, all throughout this image, right? Like, obviously, you got this like this fucking absolute party in the background. Let's be fair, right? And again, you got original, you got it crossed out on the top right hand corner. You have lookalike written on the bottom right hand corner. You got a smiley face with the eyes X'd out, kind of reminding me of Nirvana, to be perfectly honest. You got the fucking crown in gold on the bottom left hand corner, right next to right by the feet, right? You got the actual photo of the character that's been smashed, right? So actually, you got that crown also on one of the.
Also, now thinking,
huh?
Like, now thinking about it, I think this is basically the first, and this image right here is basically the first time anyone outside of you has seen what my character looks like below the dress.
Yeah, right. Beforehand, it was like, hold on. Is this a Rayman situation? Because we got a Rayman situation with the arms, right? They ain't got no arms, right? They just got the hands that float around, right? Like, they're very good. Like, is this like a Rayman situation? Is there... I mean, obviously, anyone who looks at your avatar can tell it's not a Rayman situation. You can see the outline of legs on the avatar, right? But, yeah.
So, I actually did try to see how the avatar would look like without legs. Like, yeah, it did not work out whatsoever. So, I just added... And so, I was like, you know what? She has legs. She's just armless.
That's fair. Let's see. Okay, let us continue. Wait, hold on. Let's make sure that we're in the right spot.
Yeah, I think that's the line that we left off on.
Okay. Now I gotta ask, did you get this? Did you get the idea for this part from the 20-minute song that I wrote?
No.
Because you say something, huh?
It's like, no. In fact, I don't. In fact, off the top of my head, I cannot remember most of the lines from your 20-minute song.
That's fair.
I'll admit that is kind of a weakness of that song.
Yeah, I'm aware. Anyway, so the starving artist in the corner with the hungriest eyes. Right, I asked because it's like I have there's a number of scenes in that song where it's like I attack the starving artist as noble idea. It's like a yeah. I took real fucking umbrage with that because I think it causes a lot of genuine harm to real people. Let's see. Because, let's see, crying out for credit while borrowing every line. Again, like a credit line, we're obviously talking about, like, the starving artist as a parasite class here, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. Most greedy in the room is the one who swears he's pure. Yeah, that's another thing that I basically attacked on in that song as well, which is why I had to ask, right? I mean, but as far as like this goes, yeah, I mean, it's like just think about like that again. That whole thing is like, yes, money is evil. Capital is the thing that like forced man out of primordial communism. Do not give your capital to like the client or the customer. Give it to the man in Moscow, all right? Or again, with like many of the religious who for some reason don't like capitalism, right? It's like, yes, money is mammon, it is evil. Do not hold on to it yourself, but give it to the man in the mosque. Give it to the man in the synagogue. Give it to the man in the church, right? So that God can cleanse it. And then you you have it again with the same thing in Washington, right? Oh yeah, it's like by the way, the people have voted. The parasite classes in the fucking like high and low end of society, the rich and the poor, have conspired to attack the middle class. It's like, yes, your productivity doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the man in Washington, right? Oh man, not to paraphrase
the right side of history and can't do wrong. Like, we're on the right side of history and we can do no wrong. Just don't look at the skeletons in our closet.
It's like, this is definitely what. Yes, I would agree. The most greedy in the room is the one who swears he's pure. I've never met a man greedier than a fucking communist, to be perfectly honest, right? What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine, is the fucking central thesis of communism. Communism is the ideology of an unrestrained appetite. Oh my god. Hello, Andrew Ryan, right? I'm telling you, like, Andrew Ryan was done dirty. He should have been the hero. I'm kidding, right? Kionella says, your songs make me want to make music vids of them. I wouldn't know where to start with the 20-minute one. I would have to cut that into chunks. I realized, release on to it to find out where it would make sense. I mean, that's fair, right? Again, it is a monster of a track. It was meant to be experimental. In like, part of its experiment was the length. So I was like, I understand it's really unwieldy. I personally, if I could figure out how to make the AI music videos, I probably would try to make a video for that one and the anti-abortion song too, to be perfectly honest. But that's not for right now. That is a problem for future me to figure out. But if anyone wants to make any kind of like AI video to any of my songs, y'all have every what would you say, liberty to do so. Just tag me and like I'll give it a gander, right? Captain Rudy says we're getting to the same
thing goes with my songs. The two I have now and the ones that are coming down the pipeline. It's like, if any of you guys that want to make AI music videos of it, or just music videos in general, consider this a blanket statement that you can just remember to tag and credit me.
Yeah, like I very much operate under a copyleft, so it's like I'm very non-pressed about the idea of people using things that I make for their own purposes. It's like, I don't really care. This is how art has always worked. I'm not a modern artist. I don't care about, again, it's about a lot of these new constraints that are actually killing the arts, right? So if y'all want to use my stuff, yeah, y'all can. I don't mind it. Just make sure Disco Track doesn't get on y'all's ass, because apparently it's been getting on some people's ass, and I don't know how to make that not happen. Let's see. Okay. Oh my god. Hold on, it moved. Captain Everybody says we're getting to the point where nothing belongs to anyone anymore. You will have nothing and be happy. Again, this is why decentralization is really important, right? That's why I was promoting in a previous video the home labbing for like servers, and also local genning with AI, right? Again, the more we can take away and make private, the more that our creative capacity is liberated, and our ability to actually own things. God bless 3D metal printers if they ever become commercially viable, right? It will be the greatest boon to the Second Amendment possible. Chicken Tender says, sadly, you were very correct, Rudy. Kionello says, my mind is too active. It happens, right? Captain Rudy says, did you hear we're getting to a point where video games are only going to be rented? I am aware. Well, piracy is a good solution to that problem. Captain Rudy says we already... Right? Captain Rudy says we already have cars where your heated seats only work if you pay a monthly subscription. I think that there might be a good market in...
Hang on. I actually know of this case that he's bringing up. They backtracked on that before the vehicles rolled out because of the backlash, which, if they didn't, I know a bunch of mechanics that will have great business if they getting a workaround.
Yeah. They definitely, I know that, like, if that was ever the case, I am very certain that there's going to be a market for jailbreaking your car, right? And I wouldn't exactly blame the market for jailbreaking your car. Grass mowed successfully. Huzzah! task completed, right? But yeah, so
Now on to next task.
but the thing with the let's see. We are already there, just sadly. Just look at Nintendo with how they are doing things with Switch 2. Well, I mean, that's fair, but the answer to that is just don't buy the fucking Nintendo games, right? I get it, like, some of the Nintendo games look fun. I actually think a lot of the new Nintendo games look kind of boring, to be perfectly honest. So I've not really been...
Yeah, it's like... it's like... This kind of hurts because I was a huge Nintendo fan. So, like, so when you hear Mario Kart, a new Pokemon game, Donkey Kong, Metroid Prime 4. God, I am most disappointed about Metroid Prime 4. That's a game I've been waiting for so long, and then we get this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like everything on the Switch 2 sounds like something that I would absolutely enjoy. And then I see what they did with it. I'm like, yeah, no, I am so glad I did not buy the Switch 2.
Yeah. And again, someone's going to eventually figure out how to jailbreak the Switch 2, and it's going to, yeah, fine. But as far as the car thing, though, oh, yeah, there was
People have actually figured out how to do so using the Switch 1.
Yeah, fair enough. But the thing about the car thing, because we were talking about, like, the seat warmer thing, there are actually cars that you effectively just rent. You don't actually buy. Ferrari, I think, is one of those ones where you have to sign a contract, which basically nullifies that you have any kind of, like, meaningful ownership over the... should clip the permission part of this stream. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair point. That I will have to remember to do that. Yeah, it's like Ferrari is one of those ones where it's like again, they control the fact who you can sell to. They control how you can modify the vehicle. So you don't really own the vehicle. You may have the deed in principle, but the contract that you sign is basically a ownership and name only kind of thing. So we already have DLC for car, right? So. See, and we've had that for a while. Captain Rudy says Ford patented a technology that would give vehicles the ability to drive themselves back to the dealership. If you miss too many payments, the cars basically would repo themselves. Again, jailbreak your car, right? Kionala says...
I'm not saying who. I do know a person who actually knows how to do a workaround.
Right. Kionala says, my Nintendo baby self is sad. All of our Nintendo baby selves are sad, let's be fair. Kura says Nintendo is just nostalgia farming idiots with no neurons strong enough to understand. Yeah, again, it's like, I like Mario Kart. Like, I have older Mario Kart games. It's just, I'm not going to buy the new one because I took one look at the new one. It's like, I like the idea in principle, but this seems like the laziest way to implement this.
Which is kind of weird because we have seen open world kart racing games actually work.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo comes out with this.
See, Chicken Tender says, have not and will not buy Switch 2. Sad I'll miss the new Pokemon, but meh, I'm kind of done with that franchise. Anywho, that's fair. Hello, Kenok. Ooh, hold on. You got a Smuggalana, like, emote.
Okay. So, Chicken Tender, it's like, yeah, after the release of Scarlet and Violet, again, I'm one of the biggest Pokemon fans out there. It's like, after the release of Scarlet and Violet, I've been burned out of the entire series.
Yeah. Captain Rudy says, yeah, with
something.
Captain Rudy says, yeah, with Ferraris, you're not allowed to modify them in any way. They'll sue you if you even so much as wrap it. Remember the Purari? I remember. And also, Ferrari is a... overrated vehicle, to be perfectly honest. It is literally just a fucking crotch rocket for car enthusiasts. It serves no real practical purpose outside of just flexing. And to be perfectly honest, the way people back in the day viewed people who bought NFTs is exactly the way I view people who buy Ferraris, to be perfectly honest. But at least you own the NFT, right? You may say the NFT is just a receipt. You're paying for a receipt. And I'm like, well, at least I own the fucking receipt, right? I didn't pay all this money to not own a car, right? Kenok says Fleek had a great video on the Switch too. It would not surprise me. Very good way to make fun of that. There's always a fan-made Pokey games. Yes, right. Pal World supremacy for my particular position. Right. Liberate the pocket monster genre, Kura. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the
patent actually being lost. We're going to see a flood of Pokemon-like games.
Exactly. Nintendo will probably still do frivolous lawsuits. It's not exactly outside of their thing, but at least now there's a way to fight back at it. Because contrary to popular belief, Nintendo actually has a not impressive track record of lawsuits outside of Japan. They actually lose lawsuits outside of Japan fairly frequently. The fact that they actually seem to be losing this...
Yeah, like...
Huh?
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised on some of them, because some of them sound like that they should be automatic wins, and then you're like, wait, how did you lose this one?
Mm-hmm. They just they understand that they can, even if they lose it though, they understand they can still make you lose by bleeding you dry of money. It's the same thing Disney does.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to the purpose of the stream, and then we'll get back to chat. Right? I have the last place we left off on chat highlighted. That way we can get back to it. All right. So I think we was this the last one we left off on? Or was it this one?
Yeah, this is the last line that we talked about. That's the line we haven't talked about yet.
Okay. Listening?
It's like, we listened to this part. We haven't talked about this part yet.
Oh, okay. So
okay.
So template soul wrapped in vintage dreams, still begging for yours. So again, honestly, describing a structure as a template is a really good description, because, like, again, you can point out that, like, a lot of stories share the same basic structure, and you can point out that, like, there's a lot of, like, recurring structures in music and recurring structures in painting and in drawing and in all of the arts, right? Because it turns out structure is kind of something you need to be able to cognize and understand things, right? So the template is template soul wrapped in vintage dreams. So the soul is usually a sign of authenticity, right? That's actually the accusation. The way you don't have authenticity is like, oh, there's no soul in it, right? So here we actually have that challenge, the template soul wrapped in vintage dreams. And, like, the vintage dreams are like, you're literally vampirizing the dreams of those who came before you, still begging for yours, right? This is the whole thing. It kind of reminds me of, like, Disney using other people's what would be copyright and then making money off of that, and then effectively having a monopoly on those stories that they themselves didn't actually create. You know, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, Beauty and the Beast, you know, Snow White, all these other fairy tales, right? The Sword and the Stone is very clearly Arthurian legend.
That have existed for so long, and then basically they're trying to create a monopoly off of these stories that they themselves didn't even invent.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, especially with Beauty and the Beast, because that story is like 5,000 years old. There's so many variants of it because of how old this story is. Again, remember templates and structures and, like, recurring throughout history. So yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, again, you will own nothing, and you will, like, and you will you know, be happy. You won't even own your own ideas, because everyone has, like, all ideas will eventually be thought. They will eventually be copyrighted. The copyright will eventually be sold, and you will be left with nothing to remix, right? Because it turns out all of art before the modern era, you know, persisted off of remix and reuse, right? How many versions of, again, the Sower of Van Gogh are there, right? Van Gogh's not the only one who did the Sower. I don't even think he was the first one to do the painting of the Sower. Even at the same, like, position, the same camera angle, effectively, the same articulation of, you know, the body in the image. And no one historically thought that was a problem, that other people could do their version of the exact same thing, literally recreate it in their own style. And in fact, let me pull something up, because even recently, no one gave a shit about this. So let me pull something up. Okay, if my keyboard actually works. Yeah, anyone remember these? Anyone remember these projects that from back in the day, where people would go and they would reanimate scenes of a show in their own style, and they would collaborate? So people from different artists would be able to actually, like, have their own few seconds, like 10, 30, whatever it is. I have no problem with this. Yeah, they're literally just remaking Sailor Moon under different art styles. Here's a hot take. I don't think that there's any problem with this. Like, at fucking all. This idea of, like, again, reanalyzing a series through another artistic lens. So this, I think, is the kind of thing that, again, the the copyright system is going to eventually crush and destroy, and I should probably archive that for my own, for again my own historical purposes here. But yeah, so again, they're coming after your dreams too. They are coming after your copyrights as well. So the only way to really stop this is to really just abolish copyright. To be perfectly honest, it's not really a salvageable problem because, again, if someone has significantly more money than you, they can take you to court, and even if they're going to lose, they can still make it prohibitively expensive for you to defend your own copyright. This has been done by corporations that sometimes steal the copyrights of, smaller creators. Smaller creator literally can't fight back. They will go bankrupt trying to defend their copyright. They have to give it up. And yeah, this has happened more than one time in history.
I remember, I remember like a few years ago that one movie about the kids who became trolls. I don't remember the name of the movie, but they got into like it became a short publicity thing when it turns out the unicorn that was on the van wasn't actually something that they made. It was another artist, and they just put that artist's work onto the van in exactly the way of how it is without actually giving him credit or informing him about it.
Yeah, and again, okay. Well, we're having a little bit of scuff with the avatars, but that's fine, right? I'd rather have that than other stuff. But yeah, no. The thing is like again, copyright does not provide equal protection. There is definitely more protection for certain groups than other groups in copyright like cases, and the delineation is very specifically: do you have enough money to like this burn actually fighting this in court with someone who's bigger than you? Yeah, that's not really a fixable problem. The only way I could conceive of this being a remotely fixable problem is if you made possibly the stipulation that if you were found to falsely take someone to court for copyright infringement, then you lose. So it's like you obviously, so like you're found guilty of making a false copyright claim, then you yourself lose permanently the copyright over that thing that was disputed. I would be wary of that solution, though, because I can already see how that could be potentially abused. So let's continue, right? Oh, look, we're only like an hour in. We're making good time.
Ken inside your Twitch basically gave the name of the movie. It was Onward. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, we're gonna go through the next verse and then we'll catch up with chat. I have a sneaking suspicion that's gonna be a while, right? So. Okay, I think that's the end of that one, because I think the next line is the because you're human line, right?
Correct.
Okay, so then we're gonna go to the beginning of this. You scream the machine is a thief that steals your sacred art. And again, I had to ask this about about my song, right? Because like, because like one of the lines in my 22-minute monster was, they said the canvas had been stolen when the engine learned to see, right? So it's like, again, there are a lot of recurring ideas in here, but that's just because you and me are kind of on the same wavelength about a lot of this stuff, right? And even if that was the case, I'd be more flattered than accusatory. It's like, hell yeah, man, right? Torstwolf apparently changed his description on his profile because of my song. So it's like, to each their own, right? Some people aren't gonna like it, some people are, but this is more or less the same idea. You scream the machine is a thief that steals your sacred art. Again, as we said, there's nothing magical about art. There's nothing holy about art. Art is important, but again, art isn't the basis of your entire worldview. It is just a means through which your worldview is expressed, right? So just because
I don't remember the original word it wanted, but it wanted something else other than sacred when it was generating the song lyrics. But I didn't like the choice that they chose, so I changed it to sacred.
That's fair. Yeah, there was also another line in that 20-minute song that was like there was no vault of stolen master. What was it? No plundered masterpieces, no vault of stolen gold, only patterns light in structure, the grammar minds unfold, right? Because that's all it is, right? If you break open any of these AI like art programs, you're not going to find plundered masterpieces. You're not going to find any kind of like stolen, you're not going to find any stolen gold, right? There's no one has lost money as an artist off of this stuff directly from their content being stolen, right? Because it turns out their content wasn't stolen. Their content was trained on, and any human being can look at your art and be like, ah, yes, I like that style. I'm going to try to recreate that style to understand how it works, or I'm going to recreate that style because I like that style and I have a vision that I can concretize in that style, right? No one has to ask your permission to do that.
The line that you...
Huh?
Yeah, and exactly what you said. It's going to correlate to the next line.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's like, again, calling it a thief. If you call, like, AI art theft, first of all, you don't understand what the word theft is because, again, intellectual property is not property. If anything, the theft of what we call intellectual property, if that actually does cause some kind of like harm to like the real harm, we're talking, right? We're not talking like legalized fictional harms, right? We're talking about like real actual baseline rights issues, right? It would be a negative easement. It would not actually be theft. But, you know, so because it's a category error to call it theft, to apply property as a concept to something that's fundamentally not scarce.
Track you drop is pieces from others' art.
Okay, yeah. So, and this goes back to the thing we were talking about earlier, right? About like there are no truly unique ideas. Everything is like broken. Everything is borrowed in some respect from things that other people have made prior to, because we don't think a priori, right? We don't have connection to some kind of Platonic realm of ideas that we pull from. All of our ideas come from our sense perceptions and our experience with the world. Otherwise, if that was the case, then you could expect like a blind man to understand what the color red is like, even though he's never seen it. Right? Platonism is dumb. But anyway, so that would be my thing. Is like, this is again a statement about the nature of art itself. That this is a fundamentally disingenuous critique of art. The idea that it's stolen by the AI, because you could literally make the exact same claim about the human mind stealing art, because fundamentally speaking, the AI and the human mind don't actually learn art all that different from each other. The only difference is that human beings have direct experience of a three-dimensional space that can help us make art more effectively in certain areas, whereas the AI does not have access to that three-dimensionality itself.
Indeed.
Okay. Samples, loops, echoes from the ones who came before. Again, exactly what you're talking about, like samples. Let's be fair. That's kind of like a staple. That's a staple in fucking music, especially, right? Right? Yeah. Samples, loops.
They won't.
Keep going.
Like they won't admit it, but it's like they won't admit it out in public. But I've actually listened to some of these people who've actually make professional music for basically like their own songs, and even sometimes for actual movies. One thing that they will say, and again, they won't admit this publicly, it's like they'll point to something that a song that's already made. It's like, oh, can you make something similar to this?
Yeah. And you know, that's fine, right? Because like, again, I don't think there's anything like the wrong with riffing off of someone's idea, right, to make something new. But you know, that's just me. I just happen to have a older school idea of what art is and what's appropriate in the arts. So yeah, that's the samples. Loops is another example, right? It's like you reuse things even in the same piece, right? Especially in music, right? There's very few people where it's like, oh yeah, there's no repeating pattern in any part of the music outside of like really experimental postmodern music, right? And postmodern experimental music isn't exactly all that popular because it's not, oftentimes it's not very pleasing to the ear, right? So that's what I get from loops and echoes, the ones who came before. Is there anything that I'm missing in this?
No, you pretty much got it.
Okay. Let's see. No consent, no credit, yet you slam on us the glass floor. Again, this is very clearly like the glass floor is basically an inversion of the glass ceiling, right? Right? Like,
Yeah, from our perception, it's the ceiling. From their perception, it's the floor.
yeah, this is literally the complaint that like people make about ladder pullers. It's like, yes, they climb to the top, but when they get to the top, they pull the ladder up. That way, no one else can find them, right? Can follow them.
Yeah.
And they do it without your consent, and they don't give. Okay, keep going.
And when I was generating, getting this line ready, with like writing in the AI, it's like it wanted to originally say slam on us the metal door. I'm like, yeah, that didn't hit too hard. So I tried to look for something with a similar type of sounding, soft floor, and it's like, and then it just clicked in my mind. They always complain about this glass ceiling thing, so inverse it. It's now a glass floor that they're slamming onto us.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But again, the no credit and the no consent thing again goes back to the whole fact that like, again, they don't have any right to the ideas of the people that are coming and rising up, becoming their competitors. And let's be fair, they close the glass floor into a glass ceiling. They make the glass ceiling floor thing because they are still competing, even if they don't want to admit it. They are still competing with other artists in the same sphere, right? So a lot of these people, when they pull that ladder up from under them, they're doing it for self-preservation reasons, so that they don't have to compete, so that they can reduce their pool of viable competitors. So it is a very self-interested and predatory behavior, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like, and as with the line right there, no consent, no credit. Taking the segment from beforehand, like they are willing to use their human brain to make art pieces using inspiration pieces, and sometimes directly taking from the piece or making as much of a close a copy as they can. But the moment the AI or we who use the AI try to do something similar, they're like, nope, you're stealing.
Yeah.
Even though they basically, by their own definition, stole.
Yep. I mean, a lot of these people also do fan art, which would kind of be the kind of be literally worse than anything the AI has done, because you're literally taking someone else's intellectual property, right? All right, so let's continue. Okay, so we're gonna go back and look through this, but first we're gonna deal with the chat because we have a backlog.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get to the final part of the lyrics, right? Kionello says, "I will always love Pokemon even if I don't play the new games. I stopped at Scarlet." That's fair. Chicken Hender says, "Same with Pokemon. I like the story of S and V, but so Scarlet and Violet, but did not hold me after." Captain Rudy says, "I lost all respect for Ferrari after the whole Puro Sangu debacle." Chicken Tender says, "It's the best Mario Kart, period." Let's see. Kuro says, "I still find it funny that once Rayman became an NFT, one of the first things they did was have a small skit of him snorkeling below. That's fucking funny. I'm gonna have to look that up." Captain Rudy says, "For those that don't know, Ferrari back in 2020 was developing their new vehicle, the Purosang. However, the Purosang Foundation, a European athletic charity, blocked Ferrari from trademarking the Purosang name. Ferrari took them to court and won." Again, trademark, like all of these intellectual property right laws, they actually cause real problems to real people, right? They cause more harm than good. Kionala says, I'm not mad at the Latina Snow White. It has been done before. It's just how Disney went about making it modern. I mean, that's fair. Kenok says the dual set of a cosmic typing. Dual set thrum of God damn it, right? You know what? I'm gonna see if I can get that. I'm gonna get a sample of that from the microphone, and I'm gonna put that into an AI song. So
do it. I dare you.
Kura says copyright laws are the bane of the free world. Oh, yes, they are. Kionello says map multi-artist projects. Yes. Sadly, though, a lot of them stopped using the word map because the pedophiles took over that word with minor attracted person. And I say conquest the language. Let's reconquer the language. Let's take the map. Let's take map from the pedophiles and reclaim it for the actual art collabs, right? Kura says
colonization for the win.
Kura says Dark Crystal, or am I high? I don't know that I mentioned Dark Crystal at any point in this. Did you allude to it by any chance?
When I was mentioning the troll, I think you thought that I was referring to when I.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Brain. Yeah. When I mentioned the stolen unicorn in Onwards, I think since I didn't know the names every time, I think he thought I was referring to the Dark Crystal.
It might be the Dark Crystal. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in like 15 years.
Onwards.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't seen the Dark Crystal in like 15 years, so it's like I don't remember shit from that movie. Captain Rudy says, I don't recall which state it was, but there was a state that had to pass a law banning frivolous lawsuits because there were people and organizations who filed lawsuit after lawsuit against weapon manufacturers. I don't know which one after Sandy Hook. That should be a law in general, right? You should actually, personally, in my opinion, if you are... Huh?
I think it was like either Washington or New York that passed that law, because I know there was a recent case that seemed kind of absolutely bodied a copyright troll, copyright / patent troll, because of that.
Possibly, but that's a different thing, because he's talking about like again 2A stuff. Yeah, no, I mean that should be a thing. You should actually face legal penalties if it's found that like if it's found that your lawsuit was actually without any kind of like theoretical merit, right? If it's very clearly and like prima facie a like frivolous lawsuit and you get found guilty of that, you should absolutely be charged and be required to pay the expenses of that procedure that you just wasted everyone's time on. Then we have Kenok Then we got Kenok being an OG, letting us know the name of the fucking movie. We got Captain Rudy. Dang, a whole hour. My song only got 40 minutes. I mean, fair, right? It happens sometimes. There's one song that's like 16 minutes in my analysis, so they're not all the same length. Captain Rudy says, I think Doc would love my AI Slop song. Oh yeah, have you heard his? Have you heard Rudy's song about AI Slop?
Send it to me.
Okay, yeah.
I must hear it.
I'll send it to you after we get through the last part of this analysis, right? Torch Wolf changed his description. Is he no longer an unemployed angel? No, he was telling me that like he changed his description to a techno-optimist romantic realist, because that's the description I gave in the description of that 22-minute song as the worldview I was trying to concretize, right? It's a little bit of a mouthful, but it tells you exactly what kind of like ideas I have about art, right? I'm a techno optimist, you know, real guess what that means, right? And I'm a romantic realist. Now, romanticism is a school of art that actually highlights and like genuinely believes in man as a rational agent, man with free will, and therefore the ability to shape his own destiny by understanding the world around him, right? So again, romantic realism being again, it's like that idea, the idea that like free will, like the reason of man's life is worth living, are things that I think are actually real and not just abstract ideas. So he happened to like that, so he took that title, he took that description. I'm like, God, one more, right? I gotta work to get more, right? Captain Rudy says You mean like how they added silencers to the list of NFA controlled firearms, even though suppressors in and of themselves are not firearms? Yeah, the ATF should have been abolished years ago. Kennock says, or anything vape related as tobacco product. Yeah, fair enough. Captain Rudy sampled these nuts. I'll give you one, right? Kennock says, the surprising amount of songs that use Pac-Bell's canon for its chord structure. I mean, Pac-Bell's canon is fucking, like, great. Oh my god, there's a song in the Evangelion, Lawrence and Mash. I think it's their best song. It's Armageddon, and it uses Pac-Bell's canon. And I'm like, I love this song. You know what? At some point, at some point, if y'all are in the, at some point, I'll send it to I'll put it on actually, I can put it on post, right? Because YouTube has posts, so I can actually post that because there is a channel with it up, and I think people will enjoy it because I fucking love that song. Now let's see, Captain Rudy.
I'll admit, like, as great as the Evangelion series is, whenever someone mentions it, or since I found it, the first thing that always pops to my mind is the mixing a Cruel Angel Thesis and Barbie Girl.
Oh my god, that's a funny one, right? Or Leaflet mixing Cruel Angel's Thesis with fucking The Land Promised to Us 3,000 years ago. That was a fucking banger. Oh my god. Okay, Captain
Agreed.
Rudy. We're almost caught up with chat. So Captain Rudy says, if you look up the glass ceiling, all you see is my booty pressed up against it. Moon those bastards, right? Fair enough, right? Kionella says, my laptop freaked out. At least it didn't screech at me. That's fair. When your laptop or your computer screeches at you, that's not a good sign. That's usually a sign that something very bad has just happened. And we are now caught up with chat. Captain Rudy says, the only thing unique about these Quangos is how dumb they are. I would agree, right?
I don't even think that itself is even true, because once one of these Quangos are gone, someone just as stupid or even stupider will show up.
Okay, so we're at samples, loop, and echoes, right?
We passed that.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, we're at basically those.
Okay. Okay, is it the okay, so it's right here, right?
I think
You tear the real ones down the second they appear?
it's a little bit further back.
Okay. Yeah, you pick from the same template as all the rest. Okay, so the first line that it looks like is, you claim your ideas are unique because you're human, but we already covered that line because this is a repeating line. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see, you pick from the same template as all the rest is another line that's repeated. Let's see. Look-alike, sound-alike, you tear the real ones down the second they appear, I think is an...
Go back one.
Oh, okay, hold on. This one?
Yeah, son. If you guys know the rules when it comes to the song...
Sorry.
Okay. Interrupted my own song. That's the first. But yeah, it's like if you guys know in music, and I'm not really a music buff, this is kind of like one of the few things I know. There is kind of a rule of 3 when it comes to song, and one of the common things that you do is kind of like you either follow it or you break it. This line right here is kind of doing both, as you can see, because beforehand it was just saying look alike, and now we're here, it's saying look alike, sound like.
Yeah, because
continuing the song, continuing the third rule, but also breaking it at the same time.
Yeah, a rule of 3 is just really common for like it means different things in different there's a principle of 3s in drawing and in photography as well, but it doesn't mean the same thing as it does in music, right? Or in literature, because different mediums structurally and fundamentally different than each other. But yeah, so. Yeah, look alike, sound alike. It's not just that you look. It's not just that like what you produce. It's not just that like again you look like everyone else, right? The whole idea that like punk became basically not individuality but conformity, and goth became not just individuality but conformity as well, right? But you all sound alike, right? Y'all talk the same talking points, kind of deal, right? The music you lot make sounds alike, right? This is actually one of the things I hate listening to the radio. Back when I used to have clients. That for a job that I'm not going to talk about, but back when I used to have clients, we'd have to listen to the radio, and I could not stand the music on the radio. but you know, it's all the same drivel. But yeah, so I would imagine that's more or less what you're driving at, is that you're not just talking about the music itself, but you're talking about like the poptimistic music itself, but you're also talking about like the actual ideas beneath it and the things that they say when they argue. It's all just carbon copies of each other.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let us get on to the next lyric. You tear the real ones down the second they appear. I think we already established that was one of the ones that repeats, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Look-alike, sound alike. Freedom's just a word when you live in fear. Again, it's like, yeah, because it's like free. Because obviously, like, fear is a very coercive thing. Like, if you can get someone to become afraid to do something, then you've already limited their pool of potential. Now, sometimes there are things that someone should be afraid to do, right? Like, you should be afraid to commit murder. Let's be fair, right? You should be afraid to do certain things. But the cancel culture, right, the mainstream art community doesn't just make you fear, again, things that you should be afraid of. They will make you be afraid oftentimes for your livelihood. Like, again, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to ruin my reputation and my connections in the art community if I come out as in support of X, Y, or Z, right? So I can't say anything about it. It's a very totalitarian culture. So yeah, it's like freedom is just a word when you live in fear, because that fear actually constrains your behavior. Yay or nay on it? Yay or nay on that interpretation? I think I got the answer, right?
I literally just agreed with you.
Right?
I literally agreed with you before you even asked the question.
It's like, you call yourself unique, one of a kind. We already talked about that line. But remove the name. You're just like all the rest, which is another repeating line. And then we have finally the, or are you, or are you just a look?
Is it you, or are you just?
Yeah.
Is it you, or are you just a lookalike?
Yes. And then we get to the just to look like, to repeat the accusation as a question, right? Or actually, we're just repeating the accusation. So that's the song. And because.
And then at the end, instead of ending it with just a lookalike, like the title of the song, I ended it with just a sound alike.
Yes. So, because again, it's not just what they make artistically, it's also the way that they talk. So, because we kind of made it impossible to listen to, and I should probably make this a standard for my music analysis, let's play it one time uninterrupted, right? That way everyone can see what the actual thing we're talking about is. Huh?
Quite honestly, when you started the stream, I thought you were going to have the entire song played through once, and then we go back and talk through it. I didn't expect us to talk through it while we're listening to the song.
Yeah, to be fair, most people do that. I do it a little bit reverse. I might end up changing it to the reverse. I'm not entirely sure how many people are just going to listen to the song and then bounce, you know, if I put it in the front. But, you know, that's a question for me to figure out over time, right?
That's a question for future Cosmic. We're in today's Cosmic.
That's a question. Yeah, that's a question for future Cosmic. We're dealing with now a Cosmic, right? All right. So, if anyone, just so people can see in the like again the video what it is we've actually been you know, criticizing, because this is technically criticism, right? It's analyzing a thing for what it is. You know, here's the song.
Spotlights on the stage, you strike your rebel pose. Tattoos and stories that everybody knows. Artists in the circle all preaching something new. But scroll the feed in every frame looks borrowed, copied blue. Claim that your ideas are unique because you're human, yet you pick from the same template as all of the rest. Look alike, mirror full of faces, swearing never smile. Look alike, freedom in the spotlight, dancing in the dark. You call yourself unique and one of a kind. different, something raw and true. Then the moment it appears, they sharpen up the crew. Rip it, burn it, label it a threat to their domain. Creativity's welcome till it breaks the same old chain. You claim that your ideas are unique because you're human, yet you pick from the same template as all of the rest. Look alike, all the same rebellion under different names. Look alike, marching to the rhythm that you claim to find. Give me something unique, not found in a base template or admit you're just another silhouette. If you're upset about seeing yourself here, ask yourself, is it you or are you just a lookalike? Starving artists in the corner with the hungriest eyes, crying out for credit while borrowing every line. Most greedy in the room is the one who swears he's pure. Template soul wrapped in vintage dreams, still begging for yours. You scream the machine is a thief that steals your sacred art. But every track you drop is pieces from others' art. Samples, loops, and echoes from the ones who came before. No consent, no credit, yet you slam on us the glass floor. You claim that your ideas are unique because you're human, yet you pick from the same template as all of the rest. Look alike, sound alike, you tear the real ones down the second they appear. Look alike, sound alike, freedom's just a word when you live in fear. You call yourself unique and one of a kind, but we move the name. You're just like all the rest. Is it you or are you just a lookalike? Just a lookalike. Just a sound alike.
And that's my song.
Yep, I quite enjoyed it. All right, so let's catch up with the chat, and then that will be it, right? Okay. So
You want me to mention my inspiration for the image?
yeah, we can do that. But let's catch up with the chat first, right? So
Okay.
since we're gonna talk about the image itself, right? Let me turn off the captions. Okay. So let's see. Kura says, "K, I just got an idea for mixing the real folk blues with something now." Ooh, okay, that's gonna be interesting. Let's see.
Here's how that'll turn out.
Captain Rudy says, reminds me of a joke. You're not the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope that person doesn't die. Boo Huckley says, I really wanted to see that cartoon Amazon was setting up with George Gutierrez using AI. Oh, now you have my attention. I had never heard about this. Captain Rudy says, I sent you the heavy metal sea shanties I made. You can take your pick as to which ones you want to listen to. Mav's Luck is the first one I made, and the one I made for Kitsuragi, and Happy was my most recent one. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that recent song Happy made was actually really good. The Lullaby. Oh my god. Kura says, plus YouTube inauthentic rules BS. Yes. Oh my god. Let's be fair. The entire thing with YouTube's inauthentic rule system is not anything it's not a thing of integrity. They almost certainly are doing this just to be able to save money, right? It is another excuse to, again, not pay people who are driving people to their platform. But anyway, I digress. Captain D says, I had Suno make a song about that, and I called it AdSense Guillotine. Ooh, okay, that's a fucking banger of a title, which I find very fitting. Captain Rudy says, Happy's been cranking out banger after banger. I'm gonna have to check out her actual channel. I'm subscribed to her channel, but for some reason, none of the community's videos really get actually get pushed to me in the feed, and it's really fucking annoying. But I understand that's not the community's fault. That's YouTube's fault. Okay, so you said you wanted to talk.
YouTube.
Right. So, Doctor, you said you wanted to talk about the image. I think I gave you how I make images. Did you use that same technique?
I attempted. It did not turn out good whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the images. To be fair, I do get pretty good images out of it, but I could also see how it would absolutely flub.
Well, I'm not saying that the image was bad, but except for basically what it basically kind of did was kind of basically had a crowd of people and my avatar just kind of standing in front of me. And it felt like they kind of had my character disconnected from the entire scene.
Okay. So it's that thing where I was talking about where it's I usually let the AI take control of the project because I want to see what it can do. But if there's a catastrophic failure of the AI, that's when I actually get in and intervene, right?
Yeah. So I did attempt that. In fact, with future songs that are coming down the line, which I do have one coming out this Wednesday, it's I have attempted it. None of them came out good, so I just gave up on that and started guiding the AI onto what I want. For this one, and it's I will admit, I did take inspiration from a bunch of angelic paintings and a certain Sonic the Hedgehog cover. It's good luck finding out which one for each.
Of course, Sonic, right?
Yeah. But again, it's angelic paintings also helped me come up with the idea for this cover. But good luck trying to figure out which one's which ones gave me the idea.
And again, that goes back to the thing where it's we're actually honest about where we get our ideas from, right? Unlike a lot of these posers who pretend to be unique and creative, where it's are you really, right? I'm not above using a reference pose if I have a difficult time drawing something from the mind's eye. That's I literally have pose books for this exact reason, right? There's nothing wrong with using references if you're going to draw, or using references if you're going to use the AI. That's just how people have done things historically speaking. What the fuck do you think rotoscope is, right?
In fact, funny enough, when I was basically designing this thing on the AI, I specifically told it to have my character sit down in a chair, which you can clearly see it didn't do, and it gave her the crossing legs, which honestly, I say this turned out way better than what I was originally planning on doing.
Again, the AI can sometimes surprise you in what it does do well and what it doesn't do well, right?
Yeah.
How exactly did you manage the no arms thing?
Okay, so that was kind of a pain in the butt. It generated the image with the arms. I kind of went in, kind of told it to basically ghostify the arms. It did kind of a semi-decent attempt at that, and then I just kind of went in Photoshop to finish the removal.
That's fair. Yeah, again, it's that thing where it's part of the reason Skybrow's videos are so good is because he knows how to do post-production, right? He knows how to actually edit.
Yeah.
It's I know you know how to use Photoshop, so it's yeah. if it can't
Illustrator, I know a decent amount of Premiere basically, if it's
Most of the Adobe?
product, except
Yeah.
for web, yeah, except for the web, that's the only one I couldn't actually get. But I think that's because I had a terrible teacher.
Yeah. Speaking of fucking copyright, like ruining everything for everyone, fucking Adobe makes all of the fucking art, actually digital art, so much more like difficult to get into because again, a lot of the really easy, a lot of their tools are copyrighted, so. So that artificially handicaps all of their competitors, and it is just so frustrating. Especially because Adobe is not really a company I particularly like. I know how to use Illustrator, but keep going.
Yeah, it's like the only reason I actually use Adobe is because I'm in an industry where you actually need Adobe.
Yeah.
You can technically use the alternatives, but you're really not going to get far if you're using the alternatives. Adobe's the product you need.
Yeah, it's just significantly more cost effective, and because again, even if you can do the same thing in those programs with Adobe, it is just more time consuming to do it in other programs. So even if they can do the same thing, it's just more effective to knuckle down and just like again kiss the ring of Adobe. To be perfectly honest, and this is the main problem again with copyright: is it kind of forces you to work with people who are unsavory. But yeah. Kionella says, I have an idea for a vid of the death of the artist. I just don't know what to use for the lyrics. Just play around with, my suggestion in this would be, if you're having a hard time with it, use either ChatGPT or Grok. ChatGPT is better with lyricism, by the way, and they actually do have some Suno-specific GPTs in ChatGPT, and just have a conversation with the AI. And that might actually help you come up with some ideas and like how to flesh out some areas of like the idea that haven't been like fleshed out yet. And if you have difficulties with
if you're not with,
keep on.
And if you're basically worried about basically costs, yeah, Grok has these moments where basically you can't use unless you're paying. But so it's probably better to start with ChatGPT because yeah, you're going to have a limited amount of responses per day. But at least you can actually do a decent amount with the free.
Yeah, and the thing with the AI conversation, right, is especially if you like the AI can sometimes prompt you with questions that you might not have thought about, and that can help you sometimes flesh out the idea. But I would suggest if you're going to suggest the idea to ChatGPT, give an extremely detailed overview of what you are trying to do. Because again, like my prompt for the Islam song, which ChatGPT fought me tooth and nail on, by the way, right? That one was mostly a Grok project. Because ChatGPT was just really uncomfortable with writing a song taking the piss out of Islam. In that case, like my prompt for that was like a full page and a half, right? I had a series of like instructions that I needed this thing to fulfill in order to accomplish its function. The same thing with like the 20-minute monster song that I like made or gen was, again, that was like a 2.5 page prompt. It's like I gave it a extraneous amount of details of things that I needed it to accomplish, and then the product in both cases, it wasn't perfect, so then I had to go over it, rewrite the edit the lyrics, prompt it to clarify some things, prompt it to edit out certain things to better concretize the vision. Yeah, you can actually like have a back and forth with the AI to help what would you say, iron out the details in what you're trying to do. Let's see, Boo Huckley says, AI will become our JoJo Standos. I like that idea, right? Behold the power of my stand, Grok. So get that would make such a fucking parody. That would make such a funny parody AI video, to be perfectly honest, right? It's like one man has the stand Grok, another man has the stand Chat GPT, another man has the stand Gemini. It turns out Gemini is just the fucking worst stand ever made, right? Oh my god!
Stand might be mighty, but I have unleashed my stand Suno.
Suno, Sea Dance, right? Like Sea Dance is a fucking combat-oriented, like a stand, right? Oh my god! Fucking Grok would be more like a domain expansion, right? Oh, I got a follower on Kick. Thank you, HRK8GG3KPQ. What an interesting username. Thank you for the follow. All right, so okay, so that'll be the end for today's episode, right? We're at almost 2 hours for this one episode. So again, if you haven't,
again, you turn a 5-minute song into 2 hours.
I have a tendency to do that, don't I? So if you haven't subscribed to Doctor of Insanity's account, this would be his channel. So
If any of you guys want to make fan arts of my character, I will give one piece of note. As you can see in both images, my character, the face is blank. It's the tablet mask that has the emotions.
Ah, that's actually a really interesting detail. Yeah, this is I'll put the channel in the chat if anyone wants to follow, because I've heard some of the stuff he's working on. It is pretty good. He's got some bangers coming out. So don't get left out of the conversation. Hold on. I gotta check because I gotta check because for some reason it didn't send it to YouTube. That's annoying because it hold on. Let me check something.
YouTube might thought it was spam.
Possibly. Okay, well it went there. It went through that time, right? So I just had to type it directly into the browser instead of on the Pro Chat extension. So again, that's I'm a Cosmic Otaku. This has been me talking with Doctor of Insanity. I will see you in the next video. Y'all have a lovely day.
Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Keep making good songs.